kind of let them down. The Sivir range in particular was masterfully exploited by Invictus Gaming. And this draft, hopefully they'll go for a bit more of a balanced comp because they really didn't have the late game options with that Sivir.
Yeah, didn't quite manage to make it work, but thus far the ban list looking very similar to last time. A lot of respect given to that Annie pick, probably towards Love CD in that bottom lane, but I think Annie switched sides as far as this ban's concerned.
It's interesting that there's no Annie available. We saw Annie played to excellent effect by EDG here. Look, it's an engaged support. I mean, the Sona's definitely not in favor. The Annie Tibbers has very much the same flavor there, and it's banned away.
Yeah, not going to be used here. I mean, the likes of Leona is also still there as far as engaged supports are concerned, but hasn't been seeing too much favor as the last ban to come through from M3 as well. So if they do ban away that Janna, it could be the same bans to come through for Game 2.
I mean, one of the issues I think Chinese teams have with the Leona pick is that they really value having the ranged auto attack in a lane swap. It gives you more options when you're sieging turrets to be able to hit the turret without having to get into melee range. So because you can get much the same flavor from the Annie Tibbers and the Leona combo, it's just a bit of a safer pick, a bit more flexible if there's lots of lane swaps happening.
Yeah, and the Lee Sin's going to be the change up here for the ban list, and that means Janna is going to be picked up immediately from Invictus Gaming. Kitty's going to have that one in his wheelhouse, and we'll see whether they can utilize that. Of course, very flexible pickup, but Love City is going to have the option of going for that Thresh if he wants to, and Kitty's showed some brilliant performances on that champion.
No bans directed towards the top lane right here apart from Nash, so there still is a lot of options available for Pokemon. Again, stepped up when he needed to last series. He was behind his lane opponent Lupa the whole time, but again, if you give enough time and enough space to Pokemon on that Maokai, he will scale up and be the team 5 force he needed to be for his team.
Yeah, and yet again, M3 going to be picking up Morgana and this Vi as well, so putting a lot of onus on the Morgana over the likes of the power pick Thresh. And we could have a very similar lineup coming out of this M3 side as IG now have an option to really put a spanner in the works and take away some of those tools, and Rookie is going to do it with a potential Azir pickup here.
I guess the single champion pickup that works the best against Vi has to be the Morgana, just because the Black Shield negates the CC and you're able to move freely, so I can understand the combination pick coming there, but it's a lot put into that initiation basket, a lot put into Dreams, the newest member of this M3 lineup we have to restate. So whether they can fill the rest of the comp around it will be interesting to see. And that's actually the Twitch lock-in coming out of Candy.
Yeah, so Candy mixing it up as far as his late game carries are concerned and going for this Twitch. Of course, our Chinese players loved that champion around world stage, but has fallen out of favor just a little bit. And we'll see how he does go. Of course, very squishy in the early stages, you could imagine. Going to get shoved in a lot by Kid on this Sivir, but see if they can manage to get a lane swap perhaps to dodge out of that one, or whether they can keep him safe.
Yeah, the moment that was locked in, Invictus Gaming is saying, all right, right now on stage they're discussing their level 1 plan, because you have to get the 2v2 lane matchup against Twitch. You have to force him into that bad matchup, because that's the reason that Twitch fell out of the meta, is that if you can't get the lane swap, he just can't deal with 2v2 lanes. He gets pressured so easily right there. And the Xerath locked in. Data looked good on Xerath in the past. It's a very powerful pick, as we saw from Rookie.
Yeah, switching up the lanes here. It's going to be Rookie's turn on this Azir. Both of these players managing to farm it out very effectively and not really getting the edge as far as that 1v1 was concerned. But they're looking at a Maokai, but look at what M3's done. They've left the top lane pickup for last, and this could be the singed into the Maokai pick as it does get locked away. And Cacao on the Nunu.
Yeah, Cacao is going to be causing so much pressure in the M3 jungle. It's always one of the best blocker picks to pick up that Nunu against a Vi, because if you know which side of the jungle the Vi is on, so much more predictable is that assault and battery. You can scout it out and really do a lot of work. And yeah, we've been expecting the Singe pickup, just because that's when M3 have really done well, is when they've gone with the Singe. But Rumble is still available, made it so late in the draft, to the last pick in fact. M3 is going to have such a struggle getting the lanes they want, but you can see the late game damage coming out. They have some huge late game pressures coming out if Candy can be babied through the early game.
And are they putting this to sort of like giving IG sort of a lose-lose situation? Because of course the 1v1 lane, pretty good for a Rumble here against the Maokai, but 2v2 not so great, and Rumble suffers in that 1v2 situation.
I guess the one thing I'll take away from this draft is that IG have completely the ascendancy in the early to mid game right here. They have all the tools, all the tools to deal with this M3 lineup, and it's only super late when Twitch and Xerath get really strong that M3 will be able to take down this game. So IG, they've been assertive, their rotations have been good, they're putting themselves in a proactive position to win this game, but M3 have definitely got it late.
Yeah, do Do you know why Lupa maybe didn't opt for that Singed pickup? Of course, one of his pocket picks for dealing with these Maokais?
It could just be the fact that it's going to be an overwatered jungle. They do have a Nunu. It's going to be the double Sightstone coming out. Singed always deals best when he's drawing pressure to the top lane from a ganking jungler. With Nunu, he's going to kind of disregard that matchup. So I guess it's just the pressure of the wards coming in. They don't want to draw that aggro to the top. And as you say, the 1v2, Rumble will do capably. Singed really struggles. So again, they really want to get the 1v1 and 2v2 matchups here. Do IG.
IG definitely do, of course. If you are playing a Twitch, you don't want to be against that Sivir, especially in the early stages. Of course, that Rat-a-tat-tat, formerly Spray and Pray, going to be very useful around that level 6 mark, but Twitch needs to get some items before he's really going to tear through these teams with that AoE ultimate to come through.
It's a double artillery favor, you have to think. Xerath with the big range, Twitch with the big range, and then just plenty of people, especially this Maokai, trying to get in and corral those carries.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, but let's get on to the Rift. And we're on to the Rift, ladies and gentlemen, with Invictus Gaming taking on M3 for Game 2. Invictus Gaming pulling out for Game 1. We'll see whether M3 can turn it all around with this one and make it a tie.
It definitely wasn't the M3 that was completely blitzed away by EDG in the first game of last week. They showed some very good early game pathing. They're going to want to get aggressive wards in to try and make this Nunu's pathing predictable. But down bottom lane, the AD carries have met each other.
Yeah, they've already discovered that these duo lanes are going to meet up here. You have to think that that works out in IG's favor, but Candy is not too worried about that one because level 1, Twitch not doing too bad.
And I could see the supports actually trading gold between each other, getting value out of that GP10 before the minions spawn.
Oh, and this Yeti getting burned down here as well, so some harass thrown down back and forth from both of these sides, but nothing decisive going to come through just yet. They're just going to mill about.
You can see the back coming here. It's not to pick up health and mana. Again, they're trying to get away from this 2v2 matchup. You have to think the buff is going to be called by IG. That's why you see Sivir and Janna moving aggressively. They're going to try and look at a buff steal here, or at least try and get the lanes they're looking for.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. As we do have, of course, M3 heading back to that bottom side, and looks like they're just more than happy to go 2v2. This is quite interesting.
Yeah, it's very surprising to see them opting into this 2v2 right here. The matchup just definitely does not favor Twitch. So, look, at this point they've kind of committed to it, and they're going to have to at least grin their teeth and bear it. It'd be much better if they could enter lane at least with, say, a Bilgewater Cutlass for a bit of extra sustain. 2v2, it's going to be a world of pain for Twitch.
Yeah, I mean, with that, the Venom Cask and, of course, the Dark Binding, there's some opportunities for some extra damage there with the Contaminate as well coming through from Candy, but you'd have to think that the consistent damage and the ability to push a wave coming through from Kid, especially early on, really going to put them ahead. But Rookie putting the pressure down on Dade here already in this lane, having hit level 2 early.
And they're so fast to push in this bot wave because actually, I mean, Love CD's recognized the situation. She's actually skilled at the Puddle first here has Morgana trying to help with the counter push, but it's going to be very difficult to not get out pushed by this Sivir Janna lane.
Oh yeah, and Kitty's playing up very far, wanting to make sure the pressure is on M3's bottom side. Punish this Twitch pickup as the Ricochet going to go through these minions. And Kitty's just pressuring them out of this lane. And Kid and Kitty's, this is a bottom lane that we've respected a lot coming through the LPL. And Love City and Candy, maybe not as much as us.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, there's not much to say. They did see when they were halfway down the lane, Sivir and Janna walking through a ward. So at that point, they committed to going for this 2v2. I guess they thought maybe they would lose too much creeps and experience if they split and went to top, but this is the result. It's a very unfavorable matchup, and Cacao's already invading.
Yeah, he is counter jungling this one. He's going to be able to use that Consume Smite. Dream's getting taken down very low as well. The Ignite coming through from Kitties there as Cacao flashes aggressively. The Ice Ball for the kill, and Dade, he misses the stun. A beautiful heal to keep him alive from Rookie here as well, as Dade's going so deep to try and pick this one up. The shield onto Cacao here as well, and this is such a messy fight. The teleports to come through from both sides. Cancelled actually on the side of... Oh, actually no, Pokemon. He's just already in here as Kid. He's finally made his way around, and Looper has to flash away. Dade falls down to Kitties, and this is so messy. 2-0 already for Invictus Gaming.
It's a massive win for Invictus Gaming, and the man that deserves all the credit there is Rookie. He was the first to react, despite being on the enemy side of the map right there. Dade was slow to come and help his laner right there. And even though he healed preemptively to try and keep away the first blood, it came through, and his team is paying for it. It might be Dragon here.
It could be, but M3, they don't want to let this one go without a fight. It is going to be taken here by Kakao, and the fight is now on yet again. Kakao so incredibly low, he falls down, but Rookie picks up a kill as well. The flash from Love City as Rookie comes around the backside. He's very out of mana as Dreams comes in and tries to get some pressure down. Kid is now in no man's land, still has that flash, but oh dear, that's embarrassing as he uses it to get to further in the Dragon pit.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that flash there. It was a very questionable play. And after all of that, they do pick up the Dragon, but again, we always talk about the fact that those stats so much more relevant in the late game, not so relevant right now. A double buff Twitch with 2 kills in a 2v2 lane against Sivir. Candy is actually set up to succeed this game because he's already sitting on 1,400 gold. Could be a 5-minute Bilgewater Cutlass, and they can't lane against this double buff Twitch.
Yep, it's all planned here from M3, knowing that if they do have an early scuffle, they'd be able to get Candy ahead. That must have been their game plan from minute 1.
The longest of plans for Dade to be slow to react, that he gave Rookie the chance to get position on him, and then the buff transfer is complete. It's the worth solo queue moment, you have to say.
Most definitely. Some interesting things happening in this game very early on. And if we take stock, though, Invictus Gaming, they do pick up a Dragon, and they pick up the extra kill here as well. So they do have the advantage. Double the CS in the mid lane here as well is Rookie over Dade, as Dade has made his way back to this lane. And getting this Azir ahead early is very important. And he's 1-0-1. He's looking very strong.
And there's just no words to really explain how big an early win it is for Candy to have 2 kills, already have the Bilgewater, so he'll be able to stand up in lane very well, sustain up well, and he'll be that much faster to pick up the Bay of the Rune King. He doesn't even need it now. He's got the double buffs. He's going in for a kill down bot.
He's trying to do some work down there. We haven't actually seen it on our screen just yet, but Kid is just going to get melted from that poison.
And that was just the predictable Blade of the Ruin King Twitch play, but he didn't even need that power spike. The Bilgewater Cutlass into the red buff slow was enough, and Candy's 3-0-0 in the bot lane on Twitch against Sivir.
This is looking beautiful. Dreams using that Vault Breaker. They found Kakao yet again. Dark Binding not going to find its markers. He's just going to blood boil himself and have a wander around. Take a couple of tower shots here, walking through. But Rookie, there's the Emperor's Divide. Kakao, he does get stunned up. There's the Arcano Pulse here as well. He hasn't quite fallen down, but Dade picks it up with the auto attack. I thought for a second Kakao might survive.
The Noble Yeti was so close to sauntering casually out of the enemy jungle right there. It was a heroic stand put up by Rookie to keep him alive, but he falls down eventually.
He does, this Kid. Going to come back to this bottom side. Now has an 11 CS disadvantage towards this Twitch, and only able to pick up a Brawler's Glove as Kitty's getting aggressed on by Candy. Nice Howling Gale to stop the onslaught of Twitch damage. And Love City yet to come back. He is almost there into this lane to help Candy out. But this is level 6 to level 4 on the side of Candy.
And we have the experience bar up on the screen right now. Not even close to level 5 right here. So it's a massive advantage. And just the implied zoning. Every time Candy goes out of vision, Kid has to run straight back to his turret because of the threat of ambush right here. It's just completely warped the bottom lane matchup. Once the Blade of the Ruin King comes in, especially at the cliff that's going to come in because of this score, I mean, Sivir has to always be careful because if the Blade of the Ruin King's used at the right time, the assassination potential is massive from Candy on this Twitch.
Yeah, M3 now trying to freeze out this bottom wave as well, but Kid and Kitty's not going to let that one happen. Make sure it gets into that turret range as Candy's forced to farm underneath the turret. But Invictus Gaming now definitely on the back foot, and they wouldn't have planned for this. This is very difficult for them to deal with because that would have been a guaranteed 1 lane for them, and they have to completely remake their game plan as Rookie seems to be in a bit of trouble here in this mid side as well. Yeah,
the Assault and Battery is on cooldown right here. It is the kill coming in from Vi. Cameraman having a bit of a horror day at the start, but the picks continue.
Yeah, Dade able to help out with that one here as well as Dream starting up yet another good early game on this Vi. And the red buff here for Dade as well. Beautiful.
It's just a very different flavor of comp right here. You do have the Twitch, so the Vi will be useful in trying to lock down a diver right here, but it might actually be used for peeling for the Twitch because he's going to be so super powered. Usually the Twitches we've seen in the, for example, Deft and the other Twitches we've seen come up in the LPL so far have really only hit their power spike 30-40 minutes into the game. They haven't been able to get there before then, but an overtuned Twitch, a Shades of Worlds right here, where we saw so much Twitch play coming out.
Oh yeah, Uzi's Twitch in particular was especially impressive.
Especially impressive?
Especially. I don't know why. I don't even know. I don't know, Papa Smithy. I'm just getting completely confused by this Twitch and how far ahead he is in this horror lane. That early skirmish doing wonders for M3 in what looked like a winning situation for Invictus Gaming. My gosh. Crazy things to happen thus far this game. And IG, although having an early gold lead, now falling behind 1,000. And you have to think that that is from that bottom side. The Avarice Blade to come through. Kid, he's conceded this lane. Yeah,
1,400 gold behind a Twitch. It's just words cannot communicate how deep a struggle Kid is in right now. He doesn't even have the On the Hunt available for a potential Dragon fight. Dragon's up in 30 seconds. And, I mean, Looper can teleport in, has the Haunting guys. They still have a Rumble for the team fight, so you'd have to say M3 definitely have position on this next Dragon. They've got the pink wards down as well. And all IG can really do, despite having a very mid-game focused comp, is kind of watch.
Yeah, and we've been looking at this bottom side of the map a lot as Dragon is just about to come up again. M3 looking to pick up there first, but we haven't mentioned the top side, and that is Looper with a 20 CS advantage on this Rumble. Both of these champions, of course, Rumble wants to do his impact in the mid game, whereas it's more late game focus here for Pokemon on this Maokai, but so far doing great things is Looper for his team, and no vision available for Invictus Gaming as M3 take down the Dragon.
I was actually worried for M3 right there because Candy hadn't spent any gold. It's sitting on 1,900 gold, will finish off the Blade of the Ruined King, but 2k gold in the bank doesn't help you in any sort of skirmish around Dragon, but no wards around. Even though Cacao has the Sightstone, they're actually losing in ward coverage in the bottom side of the jungle right here. They're trying to double up their efforts in top. That's why we see Cacao putting that row of wards down, and they basically abandon the bottom side jungle.
Yep, Pokemon does have a free lane here for a moment as Looper's just going to hang back at his turret until he knows that that pressure has been relieved. His ward was moved out of the way as M3 putting a lot of pressure in this mid-side rookie roaming towards that top area. And Kid, look at him. He just cannot go anywhere near this minion line.
But what's worth noting is that this very impressive row of wards in the enemy red side jungle here by IG. They put them all down there. They have perfect vision, but all that really grants them is extra pressure on Pokemon. On Looper, sorry. Looper's able to hang back. He can clear waves with that ultimate once every 90 seconds. He's not going to lose out. They're not going to be able to dive him necessarily in the top lane. And all the pink wards around Dragon gives M3 so many more advantages. They're just not getting much purchase out of all these wards put down by the Nunu.
Yeah, Dark Binding doesn't land there on the bottom side as Kid able to get a little bit of farm for himself. Still only 20 CS behind, so kept that distance very similar to what it was. But Candy now going to try and freeze up this lane, and Dreams, he's noticed where he can gank and looking to try and make his way in. He's going to get spotted out by a ward. And Looper and Pokemon just going to be farming this one out. Dream standing on top of that ward, so he's going to be wasting a little bit of time, but Kid has to just concede almost every creep up here, and this freeze is so strong from M3.
I think it's very good jungle pathing from Dreams, even though it doesn't end up with a successful gank, just because they know that Kid has to overextend to try and push this wave in. It's been very well froze by Candy, so either you expect he'll overextend to try and get the Boomerang Blade, and maybe I can get the engagement there, or I'll get the counter gank if Cacao comes to push the lane. So it's very good jungle pathing coming through from Dreams, just that time not paying off with a kill.
Yeah, and Cacao actually going to be spotted out by a few wards walking through his jungle. M3 able to really lock this bottom side down and solidify Candy's advantage down here, stretching that lead ever further. 30 CS now is what it is. And a pink ward being picked up by Candy as well. So transitioning his gold not only into offensive stats, but also in vision for his team early on. So you'd think that most AD carries, they'd want to be getting as much damage as possible at this stage, but Candy knows that if they have the vision control down there as well, it's going to only get better here for M3.
And the last Twitch I'm used to is, of course, Deft's Twitch, and Deft loves to go for those early ambushes. The moment he picks up a Blade of the Ruined King, you know he's going to show up in mid lane to try and get the assassination. Candy's actually redoubled down in the bottom lane. Of course, he's doing his best to deny CS, but they'll reach a point where Siva has so much wave clear, especially when she goes back, spends the 2,000 gold, gets a BF sold for a bit more lane presence, that she'll be able to push, and Candy won't have any real way to deny. Just doesn't have the AoE wave clear that Siva has right here. So I'd like to see him eventually start with the grouping, and get some assassination picks, because that's what the Blade of the Ruin King really gives Twitch, is that strong assassination pressure.
Yeah, and Kit was actually looking for an opportunity to shove this wave in and head back. He's got about 2,000 gold in his back pocket. It's all that trade. Not going great here for the IG's bottom lane, but the Boomerang Blade going to clear up these creeps, and M3 going to try and hold these minions away from that tower. As Kid, he's going to go back and he's going to get some well-deserved items after weathering the storm that was that lane.
Yeah, the Avarice Blade does pay off. He's able to go back, pick up the BF sword. He's in a good position in the top lane, despite all these wards being down. To harangue Lupa out of this lane does have a significant CS advantage, about 20 CS advantage in the top, despite all the work being done by Nunu to create map pressure. Lupa's doing very well, and Rumble does have a favorable matchup with Maokai, especially before the first big items are completed, but growing a lead with all that jungle pressure coming out, it's good play from Lupa in the top.
And now with sort of his staple items here as Candy gets aggressed on by Kid in an awkward position. Is he going to pop that ambush just yet as Kid is going to get the slow here as well. Boomerang Blade coming across, and Candy, that is too much damage for him to take.
But they're not able to re-engage for a few seconds. He, of course, has the life steal coming out the Blade of the Ruin King, so we'll still be able to stay in lane. But you're right, if they can ever get on top of the Twitch,
oh my goodness,
the Fleet of Foot passive, it's useful for closing that distance, and Twitch takes a long time to stealth through the auto attacks.
Yeah, well, precisely. And 20 CS, still the advantage here, and that was Dreams forced to pick up that blue buff as well, so no blue going to go over to Dade. He's already at about half mana as Kid putting the pressure back on. That BF sword really helping him out as far as being able to trade.
And that Nunu counter jungling is felt in the CS in the bottom lane, because as you mentioned, with the blue buff steals, of course, Cacao did steal that early one, and then it got the buff transfer came through. Xerath has never had the blue for lane control. He's actually behind in CS to Nazir, despite that being traditionally one of the strongest matchups for Xerath in the mid lane. So Dada eating a little bit of a CS disadvantage, but he'll take that just for how overtuned the Twitch is in bottom.
Yeah, well, that was how that exchange went in the early game here as well. It was Dade dying, Rookie surviving there as well, so able to solidify a lead, but they paid for it in that bottom side, and you're right, sort of these are the trade-offs that come through, but Dade, I mean, he's doing fine in that mid side. They managed to pick off Rookie just once they're in the mid-game section, and we'll just see what happens as this game progresses, because I'm really interested to see whether M3 can capitalize on this Twitch, or whether he's just going to get focused by Pokemon, that Twisted Advance as soon as he pops up, and gets onto his face, and IG able to run over it, because they have a lot of tools on the side of Invictus Gaming to really capitalize in these teamfight situations.
There's definitely a lot of scaling options with that Maokai getting big towards the end of the game there. I agree. And kind of Candy's problem this game is that he wants to roam. He wants to get advantage of the early Blade of the Ruin King he's picked up. But there's so much wave clear coming out of Sivir once he finishes BF Sword that he's kind of anchored to the bottom lane. He wants to be making plays across the map. He just can't because of the instant wave clear.
Yeah, and Dandy actually able to pick up a blue buff for himself. I'm not sure whether that was a steal from the other side, or whether he somehow managed to take the one from Dreams that Rookie was trying to solidify, but didn't actually happen, as Lupa is going to roam down towards this dragon side. It is up in about 10 seconds, and Rookie might be in trouble here as Lupa's very, very deep. Right of the Arcane comes through. There's, in fact, the ultimate coming down as well, but Candy not going to worry because Lupa, perfect time to roam.
Finally, some pressure is relieved off the bottom, and we see Twitch coming through and picking up the assassination. Cacao actually had to flash out of the dragon pit right there, trying to contest this second dragon coming in from M3. They're using their power spikes well.
Yeah, M3 in a lot of control now. Candy picking up another assist, and this is going to be dragon number 1 going down for M3 in response to IG's early dragon that they did pick up.
Yeah, in IG last game, when they won with the Maokai, they were able to compensate for the scaling nature of the Rod of Ages from Pokemon with that massive mid-game spike from Corki. They were looking for the same sort of thing in this Sivir versus Twitch matchup. They would think, okay, Sivir's going to be on top for at least the first 25, 30 minutes of the game. Because Kid's fallen so far behind, they're in this weird hole where they have to play defensive against an aggressive team.
Yeah, and Lupa's actually teleporting to the bottom side. There's the Assault and Battery onto Kid here as well, who's popped on the hunt. Nice Monsoon from Kiddies to break this one up. Pokemon's in amongst the fight, right where he wants to be. Dream's going to fall down. Vengeful Maelstrom pops here as well as Love City only stuns up Pokemon. Lupa's come in, but the Boomerangs to come down as well. And Invictus Gaming turning this one around as Candy. Oh my goodness, you are so dead.
Yeah, the communication between M3 there was definitely off. Dade was just back shopping when Dreams made that aggressive engage. That's why such a quick rotation coming in. Kid has to make fancy flip, can't do it.
Yep, can't do it. Only one spell shield to come through. He wishes he had 3.
But a 1 for 3 trade is definitely not what M3 was looking for. The communication between Dreams and Dade really cost them in that engage.
Oh yeah, and Invictus Gaming, this could be their way back into this matchup, of course. Even on Dragons now, very close in gold. Pokemon 1-0-3 at this stage. An earlier Rod of Ages at about 16 minutes, I believe he picked that one up, and he is going to be able to head back and maybe go for some early Magic Resist as well. Help him out against this AA comp.
It was last week when we really credited IG for making their own advantages, for getting themselves back into games, and for controlling games early with objective control. For them to pick up an advantage just from overzealous play from M3, they'll take it, but it's something we have to talk about in M3. Their communication between members, occasionally that was a Chinese jungler not really communicating well with the Korean mid laner, it's costing them.
Yeah, it didn't work out for them here. Of course, they do have opportunities to bounce back. 3-1-1 is still definitely a respectable score here for Candy. Does have that Avarice Blade completed as well, so probably going to be going for that Ghost Blade for that submarine potential, this Twitch that can pop up and really tear you apart. But he has to be the one making the moves. Candy has to be the one moving around this map, getting things started in a situation that IG aren't ready for, because as soon as IG makes the play, they just launch themselves at this rat and he dies.
Speaking of that in the bottom lane, has to use to play the Rune King defensively there, but he might still be in trouble.
Yeah, on the hunt, being popped here by Kitties. He wants to find the Boomerang. Love CD, though, just gets torn apart. And Invictus Gaming just pull the control back.
Yeah, Candy was too aggressive getting the last auto attacks in to get the turret. He had such a burst of damage that his support basically has to fall down in his place. And in top lane, Looper knows what's up. Look how far back on the map he's hanging.
And the KT Arrows hanging out. KT Arrows ex-teammates chilling out in a brush together, no worries. His Dream's going to come through. Kid taking a fair bit of damage right at the Arcane, but Candy, he's going to pick up the kill. The Rat-a-tat-tat doing the work. Contaminate. Can he find the range here? Kitties doesn't have a tower to run back to. Vault Breaker is what Dreams is looking for. Arcano Pulse not going to find the target. And the Moby Boots kick in, and Kitties is going to be safe.
Looking down this M3 lineup, they only really have Morgana as a disengaged member for this Twitch. And that's kind of the issue they have in the late game, is there's so much magic damage, AoE magic damage coming out of IG. Although not an AP carry necessary, a lot of AoE magic damage coming out of Pokemon. Cacao also with the snowballs, with the ultimate. They have a lot of tools here, IG, to break that black shield. And the moment that falls, I mean, that's when we start talking about the Twitch being in a world of pain compared to the Twisted Advance and other options that IG have.
Oh, of course, it's going to open him up to all of the CC available here from Invictus Gaming, and that's Cacao with multiple abilities. Pokemon as well. Rookie has his onslaught of slows, and Kitties as well can just monsoon this Twitch away from where he wants to be. So see whether they can get the engages they want. And this is what we were talking about. It has to be M3 in the driver's seat making the decisions, and when they do, they haven't been what they needed.
Looper really has doubled down on the mid-game right here. They want to try and extend their mid-game lead. They've kind of been granted after all the early kills fell in the lap of Candy. He's gone for the completed Haunting Guys, upgrade the Leandries right here. Doesn't have the Zonia, so can't be a frontline damage threat, but the Equalizer especially. If they layer it perfectly, the amount of magic damage coming out of Looper and Dade will be very impressive.
And if Dade manages to lock down some members here as well, Love CD with that Dark Binding is going to be able to help out, as Rookie going to use that E to get himself to safety. A nice footwork going to dodge those ultimate procs here from Dade.
Got to say, plenty of practice for mid laners in the LPL against Xerath.
Yeah.
He's been ever present across the 5 weeks of play so far.
As soon as you have to scrim against Barker, I could imagine that you get pretty good at dodging out of the way of that ability.
Instant level up.
Candy going to clear out this wave here as well. IG still giving a lot of respect to the M3 bottom lane. The potential coming through as this Twitch has just picked up an extra kill.
M3, I think, are really looking to force the third turret. I would like to see them grouping around the third outer turret just because the laning phase is still going, even though Twitch is super strong when the laning phase ends. The moment 3 turrets are down, Twitch can go around and look for assassination picks if they can start to get aggressive wards in IG's jungle. But by extending this laning phase, the Twitch has been kind of anchored to the bottom lane for so long, then negating that point of the game where you can position so aggressively on Twitch and pick up those assassination kills and the transitions. He's just been forced to lane against this Sivir the whole time.
Yeah, it's getting difficult, and they have to protect that outer turret as well. They don't want to give away free money here to Invictus Gaming, who have really kept themselves in this game with some beautiful team fights as Dade takes the 1-2 punch from Rookie. Tries to answer back, but doesn't quite find the target here as Love City going to be warding this one up. Cacao, blood boiling himself and running through everything.
And the Dragon is up here. Both teleports are up. You'd favor Rumble in this mid-game fight. It's a big Dragon. The third Dragon potentially coming in for M3 will just be more assassination potential, more rotation potential with that 5% move speed. They've started it off, but you have to think they're going to try and compete for this one.
Yeah, the teleport first coming through from Pokemon here. Looper yet to join this fight. He's trying to rotate down, but Dragon gets taken from M3. Cacao gets stunned, and beautiful sneak for that third Dragon.
Yeah, there was a few wards that Looper could have teleported on, but he obviously had confidence in his teammates right there. Keeps that cooldown, which could prove so important. On the hunts used, Pokemon's teleports used, but to no gain.
No, and now Candy. This is going to mean a lot here for this Twitch, who sort of is very immobile, and now with an extra 5% movement speed, going to be feeling much better. Ambushing himself up, looking for a potential kill here, as Kid and Kitties are just going to run. They know what this is about. There's the flash. Beautiful Howling Gale, though, and Cacao. He's coming around. The Absolute Zero to come in here again. It blocks the shield as the Monsoon comes in for Kid. Love CD picks up Cacao, and M3, they're just too strong on this bottom side of the map.
The 2v3 from Candy right there was just so impressive. Didn't even have the Yomas available. Did so much damage. The sniper's on.
Yeah, that equalizer was fantastically placed here as well, forcing Kid to take most of his health bar, and that is going to get Invictus Gaming away from this inner turret. And an easy pickup for M3. And this might mean that Candy can push this wave all the way up and now roam around this map. And when his ultimate's up again, that could just mean a kill straight
up. And it was a 2 for 3, picking up a kill on Cacao, but more importantly, the Venom Cask actually missed at the start onto Sivir right there. It was just the sheer burst damage coming out of the overtuned Twitch that won them that trade.
Whoa.
It's looking scary for IG if Twitch can already put out so much damage.
Yeah, more than scary for Rookie, who would have taken almost his whole health bar from those Rite of the Arcane procs, but able to survive by the skin of his teeth.
It's not a phrase we expected, but IG more often and regularly now really looking to Pokemon to really carry them through this game. He's farmed quite well. He has even CS with a Rumble, despite the matchup being pretty much in Rumble's favor for most of the laning phase. The Rod of Ages getting close to being combined. I believe it's 8 stacks right now, so a couple minutes away right there. Once that Spirit Visage comes in, he needs the armor. It's the Frozen Heart that will be the big tipping point, but he's the man they're going to be looking at to try and deal with its Twitch.
Has head back. The Warden's Mail has been picked up here by Pokemon, looking for either that Randuin's or the Frozen Heart. You can imagine the Frozen Heart would be fantastic for just continuing to stick to Candy's Twitch. So Scuttlecrab now going to go down in favor of M3, and with Baron a little bit weaker at this stage, that might be what they're looking for even now at this 25-minute mark.
Okay, the global goal continues to grow. We didn't even mention that the Blood Boy synergy is not with Kid this game. It's actually with Rookie. The movement speed to get the right positioning in teamfight. He has the Zhonya's available. The Emperor's Divide could be massive. Then, of course, scales so well with attack speed does the Azir right here. So they're putting a lot onto Rookie's shoulders. He's doing fine. He's 2-2-1. But I'm waiting for that first really big Emperor's Divide to divide up a teamfight from M3.
And he really needs to make sure that that's going to be useful as well, because this Black Shield has been perfect coming out from Love City, able to keep Candy safe. But you're right, if the Emperor's Divide works, it's stopping Dreams from being able to really have an impact in that fight. And, you know, IG are in the right positions to avoid a lot of that spray and pray damage. Things could go a lot better for them in these fights, and they've shown us that their team fighting prowess is definitely still there, even if some of these skirmishes haven't been going their way.
If they can evade that line damage, or it's triple line damage if you think about it, the equalizer coming out of Looper, all the AoE magic damage coming out of Dade, and then the spray and pay, the double artilleries of Dade and Candy in the backline. If they can really use that mobility from Kid to avoid that damage, they can be very important. They can win a team fight here. It's a struggle, but if Pokemon gets the right engage, again, he's got his flash up here. He'll definitely need to use that to get on top of this Twitch. They have a chance. But looking at Morgana, the Mikhail's is finished to complement that Black Shield.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And Looper as well, hitting the nice power spike of grabbing that Zhonya's Hourglass. Right, the Arcane going to come through here as well. Dreams actually might be caught out by Pokemon, but they have to back away because the ultimate's been procced here by Candy. Not to great effect, and this might spell a little bit of a re-engage to come in from Invictus Gaming. Pokemon very big in this front line with quite a bit of statistics already. That Rod of Ages is now completely stacked. Candy is ambushing his way in. Dreams gets engaged on, and Candy, he can't do anything. He's off to the side. The positioning could be bad. A nice Black Shield to stop that Howling Gale, and Cacao trying to come in and make something work, but both of these teams unable to find exactly the engage they want.
And while the on the hunt is a go button, you look down IG's lineup, their other initiation options are very limited. It's a lot relying on Pokemon against a team that already has a black shield, let alone the Mikhail's Crucible coming out here. Initiation is definitely not something that suits IG's comp, but they need to make something happen. They would have banked on, again, Sivir winning lane and then being able to take objectives so that lack of initiation doesn't really matter when you're setting up for that 4th dragon, the 5th dragon, the Baron. In this situation, playing reactively with no engage, IG look a bit lifeless when they're trying to contest these fights.
Oh yeah, and Kid now picking up some lifesteal for himself as well. That Vampiric Scepter going to be going towards that Bloodthirster as soon as possible. Of course, with this sort of no-tank lineup, it is where Sivir is going to shine a little bit more than usual. You've mentioned often that she's not that much of a tank buster, but against the likes of Rumble, she will be okay. But considering her short range, it's going to be very difficult to go forward just because of Dade and all of his range, and Candy as well as Cacao gets chunked down by this Xerath. Double pink wards here in this river as wards are going to get swept out even further. 20 seconds now until this Dragon as Dreams is setting up for this one. Is Sidestone doing work for himself here as well, able to replace the wards as they come in and get swept out.
But IG do have the ward advantage here. They have that sneaky ward around the back of the blue buff to have vision on anyone coming into a fight, and they've cleared out all the aggressive wards from M3. So surprisingly even in vision for a 4th dragon contest coming out from IG. Good ward control from them, but the dragon's been started.
Yeah, Candy with an extra BF sword here as well. He's going to have a lot of damage spray and pray available, and M3 are going to easily take this dragon wisely by Invictus Gaming. They don't spring the trap that was put to them by M3. Didn't have the tools to really deal with a straight-up fight, so they let that one go. Intelligent move, but is that going to be the story of the rest of the game?
Well, the minion wave was pushing so aggressively into the top. We see Maokai just meeting the creeps now, so they couldn't have waited any longer. They would have had to react to such a big wave. In the bottom lane, they are pushing out, so globally it's even. But, I mean, Candy, you can see him. He's ambushed here. He's looking for picks. He's gone for the very greedy build, the Infinity Edge on top of the damage he already has. He's ready to go. He's actually used his ultimate preemptively a 2nd time right there. So that's another important window for M3 to take advantage of.
Oh, right at the Arcane. Going to be wandered out of here by Rookie. The casual meander is what we call that one, and nicely done. So that's 2 pretty highly impactful ultimates on cooldown.
Yeah, and this is definitely a spot where they look to engage, but M3 is smart enough to sit next to their turret and say, okay, we use those big ultimates. They'll be back in a minute or so. And there's just no chance for them to realistically take this turret from under their noses.
Not going to happen this time. The lanes are in favor of Invictus Gaming, I believe, especially that bottom side. That outer turret is still up, though, for M3. They have some time to buy for themselves, as Candy and Dade taking a lot of poke damage from Rookie here, who has a couple of items. He's looking good on this Xerath. I mean, an Azir, sorry. He was Xerath last game. It gets very confusing here with these Chinese teams always picking Xerath and Azir. This time, Rookie, looking good.
Yeah, they've swapped up champs, but Dade, he's got those 3 AP items. He just clears her plenty, and they just can't push down this outer turret. They've got just the 1 outer turret, I believe, right here. They still haven't been able to push down bottom as well, which makes sense given how strong Candy's been in this lane and the threat of an ambushing Twitch coming up every time he goes invisible, so is off the screen, so that makes sense to some degree. But they're really struggling in terms of global goal, because otherwise this game is fairly even.
It is, and you are exactly right. This bottom side is where all of the sort of the pressure is coming from M3, because as soon as someone's putting pressure on that outer turret, they have to run so far to get under a turret of their own. So IG have to commit a lot on the bottom side of the map, and at 31 minutes, that just gets answered by a Baron too easily here by M3.
32 minutes in the game. This Twitch 3-item spike is complete. The Infinity Edge crits will be doing so much damage, but he needs to watch the use of that spray and pray, or that rat-a-tat-tat, as it's more accurately known as right now.
Yep.
It's level 15. It's not quite level 16 here, but he's used that cooldown inefficiently twice in a row, and a 3rd time will be just such a drastic amount of damage lost, but Rookie's in trouble.
Rookie may be caught out here as the teleport to actually come in. The Zhonya's Hourglass is going to be used right at the Arcane. Does find his mark this time as Candy picks up the kill. The Sun Turret's here trying to protect, but M3, they get the pick that they're looking for.
Yeah, there was no defensive pink wall down on the map, which is a mistake against a Twitch, especially a fed Twitch in this case. Just defend the pink ward, stand around it, and be completely immune to those ambush ganks. But Rookie pays the price.
Yeah, Scrying Orb's going to spot M3 out. They know what's going on here. The Baron is down to about half health. M3 going to continue to go on. They know that this is a 4v5 situation. Kakao, he has his flash. He could go for the possible steal, but here's the engage, the equalizer in a beautiful spot, splitting up this fight as Kid. He pops on the hunt just to escape. Pokemon now in the front line as Looper going down low, but not low enough, and M3 pick up another kill on the super tanky Maokai.
It's a very risky Baron right here. Kakao is still alive and healthy, and there's low health bars across. Why are they trying to take the Baron here? It's going to be a Smite War.
It is going to be a Smite War, and it's going to be taken by Kakao, the Smite Master. And again, IG able to answer back. Kitties, he's going to be in trouble. Actually, Rookie did manage to pick that one up, and Dunny fell down to Kitties. What is going on?
Just some really questionable Baron takes right here. Actually, shades of previous LPL seasons where we'd always see these 50% smite situations. They did not need to go for that Baron. They didn't have the health values to pick it up carefully. They could have focused on the minion waves. They could have tried to take a turret, but instead they donate a stalemate option for IG. They can hold on to their waves right now, buy time to farm up, and M3, they only have themselves to blame a second time.
Yeah, but it does mean that Candy is still 8-1-2. Things still working out here for M3, but losing a Baron like that, it's just not what you expect from the top-tier sides, and M3 probably thought that this nerf to Baron meant a little bit more than it actually did.
It was just a case of Kakao was able to walk in right there. The wards were not in a position to see him at the brush next to Baron. He's Nunu. He has the Consume. He has Smite. He's already stolen a Baron last series, I believe.
Yeah.
So he's already on form in those objective mini games, and he makes them pay.
He does. M3 making a bit of a mistake, but now 5 turrets to 2, 13 kills to 8. Still ahead by 4,000 gold. M3. They're still looking good this game to try and tie this one up with Invictus Gaming. But IG able to use that Baron to try and get themselves back into this one. Their minion waves looking okay. And that bottom outer turret, it has to go down soon.
But IG are very smartly grouping and pushing minions here because they realize that this is the 5th dragon potential coming out for M3. That's why it's such a big loss right here, is that they lose minion wave control just as they're ready to set up for the 5th dragon. It's got a massive flow-on effect for the whole team comp here.
And IG with a lot of area control here as well, so you're exactly right. Staying grouped, making sure that they can have the impact that they want. A couple of pink wards are available here as well from Kakao and Kitties. They can put these ones down and spot out potential Twitches sneaking around.
And this needs to happen. Twitch just picked up the last Whisper as well. So much ahead of his lane opponent is Candy right here. They need to assassinate this Twitch.
Oh, this dragon is getting destroyed here as well. The beautiful Dark Binding going to stop that steal from coming in. And the last dragon going to be taken. Equalizer as well to start this one up right of the Arcane. Looking for some targets. Rookie incredibly quick with that on the hunt. And Pokemon gets melted.
I want to single out Looper for a wonderful equalizer. Actually use it as max range to just split up the team. Force the 4 members to escape towards the mid lane. It completely spit Pokemon away. He might be tanky, but no one's tanky enough to handle this Twitch.
Oh yeah, he most definitely fainted at the end of that fight, and now M3 with all of the pressure able to push towards this bottom side. And you have to think, with Candy always threatening, always able to take this one down, has actually popped the ultimate here as well. Not going to find his target yet again. In fact, didn't do too much damage at all.
I've been very surprised with some of the Twitch mechanics coming out of Candy right here. You have to say that he was set up to carry this game by that misplay from IG. So much has kind of flown on from the first 5 to 8 minutes of this game. Being gifted the first 3 kills means that he can make those mistakes. He's used the spray and pray suboptimally 3 times in a row, and there's just no one on IG that can make him pay because they picked a team comp for controlling objectives and given up 5 dragons.
Yeah. So they're built to control objectives and now have no control over anything.
Nope.
Very unfortunate here for Invictus Gaming, but they do have a decently scaling comp with these Blood Boils to come through from Kakao on his Nunu, and we've seen how much control he has when he gets into a pit and has a Smite War. Kakao just in general, but Nunu as a champion is also fantastic at that one, as the burninating members of M3 still have this 5th dragon buff rotating around them. flaming them up there a little bit.
10% move speed, 12% AD and
man,
AP.
Look at how cool Morgana looks with that skin.
I mean,
and the
Twitch
Dragon
doesn't
Buff.
look half bad either. They're really burning it up here.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of relegated to clearing waves, which is not ideal. They haven't got the minion waves pushing exactly as they'd like in top and bot, which makes sense. They've been dealing with a Baroned up IG team. But how much difference would this game be if they picked up that 5th Dragon and parlayed it into a Baron of their own? The Baron has been what's kept IG in touching distance of this game.
Oh, yeah. And the gold lead hasn't stretched out too far since that 5th Dragon did go down. M3 unable to sort of really claw their way through into this one. IG answering the rotational play coming through from M3 relatively effectively as they're now waiting at this inner turret in the top side of the map in wait for M3 to come through and try and make a play. Dark Binding not going to find Rookie as he takes a lot of damage from these Arcano Pulses. This Xerath is doing work here from the back line, even though he's still down about 45 CS.
Looper is split pushing the bottom. IG have been much better at trying to avoid the assassination from this Twitch. They've been putting pink wards on their flanks, something they needed to do a bit earlier, but at least they're doing it now. But they're dealing with this Looper split push. It might only be the Rumble. He's not the best turret taker. He's not even the best minion pusher. But at any point, the flank could come on with the Equalizer.
Yeah, it does have that teleport available as well as Pokemon has made his way towards this top side, maybe looking to defend the split push as opposed to join the fight with that teleport. Is Looper going to just keep pushing these waves?
He's pushed in bottom, so now he's pushing in mid. He buys enough pressure for M3 to take this top turret right here. They're 6,000 gold ahead. They're looking good, but they haven't been able to take the decisive lead. There's no inhibitor to be taken right here, and I guess they're waiting for the Baron.
Yeah, Baron is the option. 1 minute on that one, and M3, they're going to go back. They're going to buy up some items and then really put the pressure down on that Baron. But is it going to be sort of a bad idea here with Kakao, with his ability to steal away these big objectives and on this Nunu as well? They have to think that if it's in a 50-50 position, I mean, that could almost definitely be going to Kakao. He's just that good.
I guess looking back on this series, their communication's been a pretty significant problem. There's been parts where the members of the team here from M3 haven't been able to communicate well. So to communicate the correct time to peel off from the Baron is an art to some degree. You have to be on point. They do have the Rumble to do damage in a choke, but if they're off, if they try and rush down this Baron a second time and lose it again, I mean, that's probably a bridge too far. That is too much to give away to this IG team. So they just need to focus on getting a pick. They've got a vibe. Getting a pick should definitely be a possibility. And Candy's looking for an assassination as we speak.
Yeah, Black Shield has come through. There's, in fact, trying to get the pick on the Kitties. Immediately flashes out of the way. And Candy actually almost paying for that one as Rookie has so much burst damage. Kitty does survive, but is going to have to go back. And this might be the go button for M3. Not quite.
They know the warding is going to be lower. They do have a Sightstone on Nunu, so they're looking for position right here. And Dade and Love CD are just trying to buy time. Look at Kenny rip through this Baron.
Yeah, that Baron just gets decimated, and Dreams picks up that one. IG now with a Sun Turret, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough as the members of M3 are going to come back from that Baron pit, showing off their shiny purple squares.
Yeah, the 5th Dragon will come up for a second time. Of course, that buff has worn off right now. The Rookie is going to be able to buy time with the Sun Turret. IG need to pick up this Dragon, but Twitch is freshly sharped. Gone back, got the Alacrity boots, maybe to get that extra auto in on Jana next time he goes for the assassination. Got some magic resist coming as well. Sun Turret falls, but it's looking really hard for IG to get back in this game. The lack of engage is just so clear from this squad.
Yeah, well, that was actually the bottom outer turret falling down, so IG managing to pick up another one. The outer ring is going to be finally down on their side. But that, you have to say, is only a matter of time. 7 turrets now in favor of M3.
Some Azir Sun Turrets, though.
Yeah.
But definitely the gold in the pockets of M3 right here. They're waiting for position around Dragon. It's going to be the 5th Dragon refresh. With Baron and a second 5th Dragon, this game should be over from M3. So this might be the last stand coming out of IG.
Oh, Candy going for the ambush play yet again. Rookie's now the target. He's trying to get out. Beautiful footwork with help from Kid's ultimate as Dreams trying to set this one up. The spray and pray is now worn off as Dreams has to flash away. Kakao just going to ult randomly in the middle of nowhere as the Howling Gale comes through as well. Monsoon trying to heal up the members of IG. This is their last-ditch fight. Looper taking a lot of damage. Kid, he's very healthy as Rookie going so deep on this one. The poison ticking on Pokemon, but he's going to be safe. but M3, they get the pressure that they need.
They've been able to force Candy to use his ultimate suboptimally. They haven't been able to get the heroic spray and pray. The Kakao tries to flash in to take the 5th dragon, but he's going to pay for it.
Uncharacteristically unable to get the steal this time. Kakao only 2 for 3 at this stage. Still a very good score as far as those steals are concerned, but the 5th dragon again rotating around M3.
And IG were almost able to buy enough time for this massive minion wave in top to push in, but once the Baron buffed up, Looper shows up. Of course, we'll be able to push out that top wave. The waves were pushing in IG's advantage while waiting for that 5th dragon, but the 5th dragon refresh. M3 need to hit the go button right here, but they don't have a second diver for Dreams. Maybe that's the issue of their comp, is that if they're fighting under turrets, the siege is really, really poor from Twitch. He finds it so hard to take those turrets because he basically has to activate his ultimate and able to take those structures safely. And with Xerath here, they have great poke under a fight, but they need to go for that all-in dive. That's kind of the awkward thing from M3.
Yeah, it's going to be very uncomfortable. And, you know, as you mentioned, with Candy not quite using his ultimate to great effectiveness, and yet M3 still managing to win these fights, you have to think that this game could have been over a lot earlier had M3 been able to really dictate this game completely to Invictus Gaming. And they may have sort of given them an opportunity to make their way back into the game. Have picked up now another turret, that turret falling down to minions in the top side of the map, now pushing back in favor of M3. Baron buff has worn off, and the siege is what's trying to start now for M3. But with a lot of wave clear coming through, it might be difficult. Candy now going to pop the ultimate again as Kitty's taking a lot of damage. Right at the Arcane, he's looking for him, and he finds it. Dade with the kill, and this tower, it's going to fall down. Nothing Rookie can do about it with those Sand Soldiers. And M3 able to take down an inhibitor. Maybe not the game just yet, as Looper just going to teleport to this inner turret and start this one off for his team.
Yeah, this time the Twitch pick does come up effective. They have to use 2 ultimates for it, but when they're in a 5v4 situation, suddenly the dive makes that much more sense, even if it's just Kitty's following, because there's so much less disengage. They only have the Sivir ultimate really to get them away from a fight, so M3 are going to try and be really assertive with the second 5th dragon.
Yeah, Pokemon's found his way to the front of this fight here though, so not going to be able to get too much damage down onto this turret. And with that spray and pray the Rat-a-tat-tat available for Candy, he did have a lot more range in order to hit that other inhibitor turret in that bottom side of the map. So this time, not going to have that opportunity, and they are going to back away for now. So Super Creep pushing in the bottom side for M3, but still unable to find the decisive play to end the game.
It's a pretty curious back time just here, because we have the super minions pushing in bot. Naturally, there's going to be a big minion wave push coming in, so you'd expect them to stay in mid, wait for the super minions to enter the base, and make a pretty free and uncontested objective. They even had a big wave clumped in the top lane pushing in, but they're actually letting IG relieve pressure right here. They're actually letting them clear waves. And now we're going to have to wait a long time for them to reset all these lanes. They might even wait and go to the Baron. Not being decisive enough with their minion wave control here is M3, and they're just buying extra time. If there are any kills coming out from IG, the death timers are so long at this point. Yeah. 60, 70 seconds, only going to be scaling up. They could still realistically lose this game after being in control from, what, 40 minutes of the game?
And you have to think as well, if they manage to get a pick onto Candy, this game could be all over in a matter of seconds here as well. Sivir doing so much damage to structures here as well. And not to mention Rookie's Azir. I mean, Azir may do less damage with that Arise to turrets, but still going to do a whole lot of work with a lot of extra attack speed here coming through from this Stinger. It's interesting. It's interesting. M3, though, they're just playing it as safe as they possibly can. And it'll probably be one more team fight before anything's really decided here for either team.
And both comps are so awkward. We were saying IG can't get the engage, they can't translate their mid-game pressure. But M3, there's so much disengage on the IG side that they can't lock them down. It's like such an ultra stalemate. That's why I'm waiting for the big pick to come through, or the assertive dive. The pick onto Kitty's got them the minimum, got them the bottom turret, but they couldn't parlay that into the top turret. But they might do it now as we look on the minimap. Super minions are crashing into the base nexus in the turrets. M3, they need to make things shine right now, but there's so much wave clear coming from IG, it's so hard to get the kill.
Yep, Rookie going to be forced to use that WE in order to get away. But Candy again using that Rat-a-tat-tat and unable to pick up a kill. Pokemon now going to be clearing out these minions on the bottom side as IG have managed to push this wave out. Baron up in another 13 seconds. Invictus Gaming think that this is their opportunity to get themselves back into this game. The bottom lane has been pushed out, and M3, they're trying to sweep out the vision. They're waiting to set up some sort of bait play, but they're just going to go to this Baron. They just want to start this one up.
I mean, to put in context, this will be what, the third Baron this game. They already have 2 5th Dragons. How many more advantages do M3 need to be able to close out the game? They might lose it here.
Yeah, IG actually looking to start this one up. Kid gets stunned as Dreams comes through on the backside, flashing out immediately. That equalizer going to break up the whole team as Kitties forced to walk through it. The Monsoon coming here as well. Rookie forced to flash out of the way as Kitties goes down to Dreams. Dreams with a double kill already. Dade now with some massive snipes. And M3 turn around the engagement from IG as Kid, he may have actually found Candy, who's trying to get back in on this one. Kid takes so much damage. And the Contaminate to tear through them. The ace to be completed by M3. And finally, Game 2 may see its end.
IG stood up so strong for so long. It actually looked like IG might be able to turn it around with a massive Emperor's Divide, but it was still the free-hitting Twitch in the backline. The surrender comes through. IG showed so much strength of character to stay in that game, and M3, that's not a situation they'll be able to replicate. 3 Baron buffs, the 2 5th Baron stacks. If they need those many that many advantages to close out a game, they won't be winning too many games in the LPL this season.
Not to mention, we look at the start of that game as well. Candy had the dream beginning to that game. Double buffs, as well as 2-0-0. He was looking fantastic. Let's go to a replay and just see how M3 managed to turn that one around. But my gosh, IG really gave it to them after the dream start here for M3.
So this is, again, 47 minutes in the game. There's been so many advantages piled onto M3, but waiting for the Baron buff to come up. The 5th Dragon was also going to be available soon, and this is the fight to really decide it. So we'll roll the tape right here. They start up the Baron, which makes sense, and IG, they're going to compete for this one. They have the timer, they have the vision coming out of the Scrying Orb. The big person to watch here for me is the play from Rookie. The split he's able to do on the Emperor's Divide is wonderful after Dreams has to flash away. So watch Rookie as he gets in there. The Emperor's Divide is massive, but then again, you transition to watching Candy. For once, he's able to use the spray and pray for huge line damage. Enforcing the positioning right there, the Twitch was able to actually use line damage on multiple touches for the first time in the whole game. 48 minutes in, they finally get the benefit of that ultimate. 3 hits away at the end. The members are just too tanky. The game has gone too long. But M3, it took an overzealous engage from IG, a team we already pointed out had so limited engage to pick up that win. They need to make more and set up the win for themselves rather than have to be reactive in a 48-minute game.
Yeah, not quite the performance they needed, but it is still a win nonetheless. M3 managed to tie this series up. We still have far more LPL coming for you guys, though. LGD are going to take on Vici Gaming. It's going to be a world's rematch between Imp and Marta here, sort of both the world champions now facing off against one another. It's going to be so exciting to see, guys. Don't go anywhere.